Give me 24 minutes and I'm gonna build you $1 million per year coaching business, just like I did for myself, where I built my own coaching business to $3.6 million per year. Now, most coaches won't tell you that 99% of coaches are selling you false dreams, but I'm gonna give you the simple framework that all the successful follow. So in the next 24 minutes, I'm gonna break it down step by step, system by system, so that you can just copy and paste and build a multi-million-dollar coaching business. Most fitness coaches wanna skip this part. They see coaches on Instagram doing 50K months and they think, I just need a better funnel, or I just need to run ads. No, you don't. You need to become someone worth paying 3K, 4K, or 5K to actually work with. And that starts with you getting over your own shit first. The reality is that if you're a fitness coach and you're out of shape, then you're leaving way too much money on the table. I don't care how good your program is. I don't care how many certifications that you have. If you don't look the part, then people won't pay you premium prices. When I was smoking bongs every single day, eating like shit, I looked like a mess. And nobody wanted to listen to me, let alone respect me. Then I started training seriously. I started competing in bodybuilding. I went down to 5% body fat. I had a physique that made people stop and ask, what the hell is he doing? And suddenly everything changed. People started asking me for advice. They started DMing me. They started wanting to work with me. Why? Because when you look like you've mastered the craft, people assume that you have. Your physique is your business. It's your business card. It's the proof. It's your authority. So if you're not in the best shape of your life right now, that's the step one that you need to take. Get there without excuses. The discipline I learned from bodybuilding changed everything for me. Getting to that 5% body fat is one of the hardest things a human can do. It requires insane discipline. You're eating the same shit every single day, you're training when you don't feel like you want to, you're saying no to everything that's fun, you've got no social life. But here's what the discipline taught me. If I can do that, then I can do anything. And that confidence shows up everywhere. It shows up in my sales calls, it shows up in my content, it shows up in how I run my business. So when things get hard in business, which they will, discipline is what's going to keep you going. Most fitness coaches quit after 6 months because they don't have the discipline to push through the hard times. I didn't quit. And that's the only reason that I'm here today. The thing that coaches get wrong is they think they need to get good at everything. They try to be good at the coaching, the sales, the marketing, the content creation, the admin, the operations, the everything. And they just end up being mediocre at all of it. So here's what I did instead. I identified the skills that actually moved the needle and got obsessed with mastering them. For me, those skills were networking, where I learned how to build relationships with the right people, the people who could actually open doors for me, the people who were already where I wanted to be. High ticket sales, I learned how to close deals at 3K, 4K, 5K, even 6K. That one skill changed my life in my fitness business. In the first month of me learning high ticket sales, I went from making $700 a week to $35,000 in 1 month. Then there's self-belief. I had to believe that I could actually do this. Because if I didn't believe in myself, then why would anybody else believe in me? Number 4 is resilience. I failed so many times. I lost $120,000 during COVID. I hit rock bottom 3 separate times, but I just kept getting back up, getting shit done and getting shit done fast. I move quick, I don't overthink things, I don't wait for a perfect time, I just execute fast and adjust as I go. Those skills are what took me from being broke to a millionaire. You don't need to master 50 different skills. You need to master the skills that actually matter and push the needle. Now, once you've got your foundation, most coaches think they're ready to go on full time. They quit their job, they go all in. Big mistake. There's testing that needs to happen, and that's what's going to separate the coaches that make it or the ones that quit after 6 months and go back to working at the gym. Now, before you quit your job, before you go all in, you need to prove that people will actually pay you. And I'm not talking about getting a few $200 clients. I'm talking about proving that you can sell high ticket. Now, here's how you do it. Pick one transformation that you can deliver, just one. For me now, it's helping fitness coaches scale from 10 to 20K months to 100K months using high ticket sales, consistent lead flow, and leveraging other people's times. That's specific, that's clear, that's something that can actually be delivered. Then I found 3 to 5 fitness coaches that needed the result. I reached out directly to them. I offered to help them at a discounted rate to exchange for a testimonial, and build a case study, understand that I can serve these people, deliver the results, document everything, what worked, what didn't work, what did they struggle with, what are the breakthroughs that they have. I've had a client that started from scratch in January and now he's doing 40K a month. I've had a client that doubled her income in 4 weeks using my sales script. She went from struggling struggling to close to a 90% close rate immediately. I've had another client go from being in the red, not making any money, to profiting over 100K a month. But my best client, he went from $2,000 per month to 100K per month in just over 12 months. Under $2,000 to $100,000 in 12 months. That's a 50 times increase. Those results became my proof. Those testimonials became my marketing. The case studies, they became the reason that people wanted to come and work with me, and it all started with me testing the idea on a small scale to then go all in on it. But here's where it gets really interesting. Once you have a proven idea that works, you need to structure it properly. Because the fact is that most fitness coaches at 10 to 20K months are stuck in what I call the freelancer trap. And if you can't fix this, you'll never scale past 30K. So welcome to the chaos stage. You're officially a full-time coach now. You crossed the line, you're making 10K, maybe 15K, maybe even 20K a month. But you're working 60 to 80 hours per week, you're burnt out, you're overwhelmed, and you're stuck. And the reason why is you have problems. Problem number one is inconsistent lead flow. 1 week, you're crushing it. You've got 5 sales calls booked. You close 3 of them. You make 15K. The next week, it's crickets. No leads, no calls, no sales. You're on what we call the income roller coaster, and it's fucking exhausting. You don't know where the next client's gonna come from. You've consistently just stressed about money. You can't plan the future because you don't know what the next month's gonna look like. This is the number one problem that I see with coaches that are stuck at that 10 to 20K months. Problem number 2 is that you've become a freelancer for your own business. You're doing everything. You're the coach, you're the sales, you're the marketing, you're the admin, you're the content creation, you're the customer service. You've become your own bottleneck and you can't scale because the one thing that you're doing is just working. And there's only so many hours in a day. You're not an entrepreneur, you've become a freelancer with a fancy title. The next problem is your consult calls feel like coaching sessions. You get on the call with a lead, you spend 60 minutes giving them free advice, you tell them exactly what you do, you solve their problems, and then they say, thanks so much, let me think about it. But then they never buy. You're wasting hours every single week on calls that go absolutely nowhere. Does that sound familiar? If you're nodding your head right now, then you're not alone. This is exactly why most coaches are stuck. But the good news is there's a specific framework that fixes all 3 of these problems. And it's the same framework that I use to go from 36K a year to $3.5 million within the last 4 years. It's the same framework that my clients use to scale from 10K to 20K months to 100K months. I call it the Sovereign Standard, and it's built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1, operational discipline and leadership identity. At 10 to 20K per month, inconsistency is your ceiling. You're inconsistent with your content, you're inconsistent with your outreach, you're inconsistent with your follow-up, and that inconsistency is absolutely killing your business. We install the internal operating system that scales. Decision-making frameworks, non-negotiable standards, emotional regulation under pressure. You become a leader that your business requires to hit that 100K a month. Because the truth is that you can't build a 100K per month business with a 10K per month mindset. You need to think differently, you need to act differently, and you need to operate differently. Pillar number 2 is authority positioning and market presence. You're capable but invisible to premium buyers. So you're posting your content, but nobody's engaging. You're DMing people, but no one's responding. You're running ads, but you're not getting a return. No one's booking the calls. Why? Because you haven't positioned yourself as the obvious choice. We architect your positioning to attract those 3K to 5K clients organically. Strategic content, authority building communication. You become the obvious choice in your category. Your expertise becomes the acquisition engine. This is how you solve the inconsistent lead flow problem. You build a system that generates qualified leads every single week, not just when you feel like posting, not just when you run the launch, not just when you have a challenge or when you have referrals. Every single week. And then pillar 3 is revenue, architecture, and systems. Talent without leverage is just expensive labor. You're talented, you know how to get people results, but what's happening is you're just stuck doing all the work yourself. We're gonna give you direct access to sales frameworks, to marketing systems, to operational playbooks, to running a 7-figure coaching operation. We hand you the infrastructure that literally took me years and years to build and absorb. This is how you're going to escape that freelancer trap. You learn how to leverage other people's times, you hire a setter to book your calls, you hire a coach to do the delivery, you hire an assistant to handle the admin, and you work on the business, not in the business. Now, these 3 pillars are great in theory, but you need to actually implement them. And it all starts with fixing your lead flow. Because if you don't have consistent leads, Nothing else matters. Most coaches are inconsistent with their lead generation because they don't actually have a system. They just post when they feel like it. They DM when they remember. They run ads for a month and then they stop. That's not a system. That's just absolute chaos. So here's the system that I use to teach my clients. Step number 1 is building your personal brand. You need to actually post content every single day. And that content needs to do 3 things: show experience, show your expertise, show your results, and show your personality. That's what gets people to engage and DM you saying, I want to actually work with you. Before I even touched ads, I was doing 30K months and it's just organic content. Step number 2 is running paid ads to qualified leads that actually magnify what's already working. Once you've proven your offer and it works organically, it's time to pour gasoline on the fire. For my fitness business, I run Instagram and Facebook ads, which could be a free lead magnet, it could be a direct call out, it could be a case study, or it could be a follower ad. We're just giving people free stuff. We're giving people value. We're showing people what we're about. People opt in, they watch the trainings, they see the case studies, they book a call. And then I spend more money on the things that are working, and we generate anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 new leads every single week, which gives us about 100 to 120 new calls every single week. All these people are qualified. They're not tire kickers. They're not broke people. They're qualified for the product that we're selling. For my coaches business, we do Instagram and Facebook. We run the same kind of ads. We're spending 5 to 10 grand a week. For my coaches business, we do the exact same thing. We see what works, we test the ads, and we spend more money on them. We're getting qualified leads, we're getting qualified sales calls booked, and we're selling those people into the program. That's how you're gonna scale. Step number 3 is using a setter to qualify the leads. This is an absolute game changer that most fitness coaches miss. You don't need to talk to every single lead. You just need a setter that's gonna qualify them first. My setter is talking to my leads in my DMs or jumping on triage calls to qualify those applications. They're asking the qualification questions like, how much are you making per month? How much weight are you wanting to lose? What's the biggest struggle? Do you have a budget? Do you have a time frame? Do you actually want to invest into coaching? Are you ready to take action in the next 7 days? If they're qualified, then they book a call with me. If they're not, then we don't waste our time. This is how you go from 30 to 50 applications to 15 to 20 sales calls. And those 15 to 20 sales calls are the people who are actually ready to buy. Now, you've got qualified leads, booking calls, but if you can't actually close them, then it doesn't matter. And this is where most fitness coaches fuck it up. They turn their sales calls into coaching sessions. There's a specific sales framework that fixes this. High ticket sales literally set me free. In one 30-minute call, I made $3,000, and since that day, I was absolutely hooked. I was so convicted in what I was selling, and I was making a lot of money from doing it. And what I've done is I've developed a sales script that closes at 40 to 50% on average. I've taught it to my sales team, I've taught it to my clients. They're closing 3 to 5 deals within their first 10 calls using this script. I had a female client who started using my script immediately and hit 90% close rate in 4 weeks. She didn't have to learn anything, she just got a script. But I need to be clear on this, a 30 to 50% close rate is realistic. If you are closing at 70 to 90%, then you're either lying or you're only talking to people who are already sold. But 30 to 50% is very achievable. So here's how the framework works using my coaches as an example. Phase number 1 is building rapport and finding the goal. I'm asking them about their business, I'm asking them about their goals, I'm getting them to talk. People buy from people that they like. So you need to be likable. So building that rapport is important. Phase number 2 is identifying the pain. This is where most coaches fuck it up. They don't dig deep enough. You need to find that real pain. For my coaching clients, if they say, I just want more clients, that's just surface level shit. I'm working 80 hours a week, I'm burnt out, I haven't taken a day off in 6 months, my wife's pissed off at me, I'm starting to resent my business. That's real pain. Phase number 3 is paint the vision. So now we flip it. You show them what life looks like on the other side. Imagine waking up with 5 qualified applications in your inbox. Imagine only working 30 hours a week because you have a team handling the rest. Imagine taking 2-week vacations without your business falling apart. So you're building that dream state for them. Step number 4 is presenting the solution. So now you present that offer, but we're not selling coaching, we're selling the transformation. So here's how we're gonna go about getting you there. We're gonna fix your lead flow so that you have 30 to 50 qualified applications coming in per month. We're gonna give you the exact sales script that closes 40 to 50%. We're gonna help you hire a setter and a coach so that you can actually work on the business instead of in the business. And then we've got phase 5. Sometimes they are gonna have objections. It's completely normal. I need to think about it. I need to talk to my wife. I don't have any money right now. You need to be able to handle these objections with confidence. Look, I get it. This is a big decision, but let me ask you this. If you don't do this now, where will you be in 6 months? Like still stuck at 15K months? Still working 80 hours a week? Or will you finally have the business that you've been dreaming about? And then phase 6 is closing the deal. Ask for that sale. So let's get started. How do you want to go about paying? Now let's go over the maths. At a 40% close rate with a 5K offer, that's 40 sales calls per month, 16 closed, 80K in revenue. And if we look at a 50% close rate, you have 40 sales calls per month, you close 20 of them, that's 100K revenue. That's it. That's how simple it is to hit 100K per month. You only need 40 qualified calls and a proven sales script. So now you've got the consistent lead flow, you've got the high ticket sales script, you're closing deals at 30 to 50%, but the thing is you're still doing everything yourself. And there's one final stage that's gonna give your life back. You can't scale past 30K months by yourself. You actually need to build a team. Now I'm gonna give you guys the exact system and structure that I use. So person number 1 is you. That's the authority. You're the CEO, you do the stuff that no one else can do. You create the content, you manage the team, and you build the vision. Person number 2 is your setter. This is the person that qualifies your leads and books your sales calls. They're in your DMs, they're doing the triage calls, they're qualifying your applications. They're making sure they're asking the right qualifying questions, they're booking qualified leads into your calendar. This saves you hours every single week, and it also ensures that you're only talking to people who are ready to buy. Person number 3 is your coach and delivery person. This is a person that delivers coaching. Maybe they run the group calls, maybe they handle the onboarding, maybe they do the check-ins. This frees you up to be able to have the focus on the sales and the content. And then hire number 4 is operations assistant, which is a VA. This person's going to handle everything else. The admin, the customer service, the tech issues, all of the stuff that you don't want to do and that it's not worth your time. So that's it. It's a lean team. We've got 4 people. You don't need 20 employees to hit 100K months. Now, once you have that team in place, you need a system, and it needs to be perfect and repeatable week on week. I'm gonna give you guys mine when I was doing 100K per month. Monday was content creation. I would batch create content for the week. YouTube videos, Instagram posts, emails, all of it. I'd knock it out in 3 to 4 hours. I'm done for that week. Tuesday to Thursday, sales calls. I would do 5 to 7 sales calls per day. That's 15 to 20 calls per week. At a 40% close rate and a 5K average sale, that's 30 to 40K per week in sales. Friday is group coaching. I would run my group coaching calls where I'd deliver value and I'd make sure our clients are getting results. This is also where you can get testimonials and case studies for your marketing and also build that community aspect, which is super important. Weekends I'd have off. I wouldn't even work on the weekends. The whole point of building the business is to buy your time back. Now, all you need to do is repeat this 52 times and you'll do well over $1 million per year, guaranteed. But here's the tips that you need to make that happen. You need to stop thinking like a freelancer and start thinking like an entrepreneur. A freelancer trades time for money. An entrepreneur leverages other people's time. When I was doing everything myself, I was capped at 10 to 30K months. There was only so many hours in a day. But when I hired a setter and a coach and an assistant, I literally bought back 20 to 30 hours of my week. And then what I could do is I could focus on the high leverage activities, the sales, the content, the strategy, and my income literally doubled, then tripled, then 10x'd. So let's now do the maths on $1 million year. We've got 3 options. Option number 1 is high volume, 3K offer, 333 clients, that's $1 million. This is gonna be the grind path. You're doing a lot of sales calls, you're managing a lot of clients. It works, but it's super exhausting. Then you've got option number 2, medium volume, 4K offer, 250 clients, that's $1 million. This is a sweet spot for most fitness coaches. You're doing 2 to 3 sales calls per day. You're managing a moderate amount of active clients at a time. Maybe you need 2 coaches, or maybe it's you and another coach. It's sustainable. But then we've got option number 3, low volume, 5K offer, 200 clients, that's $1 million. This is the freedom path. This is where you're only doing 2 to 4 sales calls per day, working with a low volume of clients at a time, and you have the most time and the most freedom. If you charge more, you have less clients, you have less overheads, and less of a headache. I'm always gonna choose option 3. I'd rather work with 200 amazing clients at 5K than 333 clients at 3K. But you need to pick your path, and it needs to be a path that fits your lifestyle and your goals. Now, the real secret about building a coaching business that can do $1 million a year, it's about mastering the fundamentals. Consistent lead flow, high ticket sales, leveraging other people's time. That's it. I literally went from smoking weed every day, living off government benefits, to building a $3.5 million per year fitness business. I've literally helped clients go from under $2,000 per month to $100,000 per month in just over 12 months. And I did it by mastering the fundamentals. You don't need to be special. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You absolutely don't have to have it all figured out. You just literally need to execute, and you need to execute fast and consistently without excuses. That's what separates the coaches making 10K months from the coaches making 100K months. is execution. So the question is, are you going to execute, or are you going to keep making those excuses? Now you know the exact framework that's built me a $350K a month coaching business. You need to now actually learn how to get clients in the door consistently. And there's a client acquisition system that I've been using that's made me millions. And it's the exact same one that I give all my clients. So check out this video where I break down the entire system and how you can use it to guarantee your next month is going to be your biggest month.